Patriots-Chiefs. Currently, we're recording this on Friday morning, a little before 8 o'clock Eastern. And this will change, certainly. Keep an eye on it. Chiefs are favored by 3, over under 55.5. This game will start at 6:40. So, by the way, the over-under opened at 58, and now it's 55.5. Now, it went down right off the bat early in the week because on Tuesday or so, the weather forecast was for temperatures at 0. Like, it was just going to be this disastrously cold day and be one of the more coldest playoff games ever and all that stuff. Forecast has lightened up. It looks like we're going to be in the mid to high 20s. So not unplayable, not extremely uncomfortable. I mean, cold for sure, but nothing that weather, that doesn't make me think anybody's going to be negatively affected too much. The weather's not a factor.
Yeah.
Really. So we can throw that out, right?
Yeah, I mean, as long as it's not snowing. Yeah.
Right, and it's not supposed to.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was too bad. I was kind of looking forward to the 0. I mean, selfishly, I feel bad for the players.
Because you're going to be home in Charlotte, home house.
Yeah. Exactly. What do you think the Pats playing the disrespect card?
I don't know. It's pretty disingenuous, I think. I mean, when Brady had that interview last week, it was like, yeah, everybody thinks we suck. But yeah, there's some truth to that. I don't think anybody thinks the Patriots suck, but I mean, I think people think that the Patriots are not as good as they normally are. Right.
We've said that.
What's that?
We've said that all year.
Yeah, but coming from Tom Brady, it's like, I read somewhere that the Patriots don't get the opportunity to play this card very often, so why not play it? Why not play disrespect, like us against the world kind of mentality? Which I guess, but I don't know. It just comes off as like kind of blah to me.
Yeah, Edelman was doing it too. I think they made T-shirts or scarves or bandanas or something. The ability of elite athletes to manufacture reasons to get angry at people always amazes me. That they could really, this is the part that's so hard to, we can analyze skill, right? And people do it better than me, but to what's going on in someone's head and what motivates them, that's so, and you've done more of this than me because you've worked more directly with elite athletes, that the ability of them to trick themselves almost into, getting angry and getting motivated because someone doesn't respect them or something like that. It's so interesting to me how the brain works like that, because I couldn't. I'm like, God, who cares if someone says I suck?
Yeah, well, that's why they're, the mentality is so, in life is such an important thing. Whether you're running on the treadmill at the gym or you're, in this high stakes football game. Yeah, and you're right. If you can manufacture some kind of disrespect, there is something. I think there's something to that of that being a positive thing for somebody, like to get you motivated even more. I mean, but I don't know, to play it off like that. To me, Brady just came off like a whiner. But
right.
I don't know. Nobody thinks they suck. Just because people think like you're. Just because people picked against you in a football game doesn't mean everybody thinks you suck.
What's happening though? The sports media ecosystem. This is a whole other conversation that I won't go too far into. But ESPN, I'm going to pick on ESPN for this one. Someone on ESPN says that maybe this is the end. And I'm creating sort of a hypothetical, generalized situation here. Someone on ESPN says that maybe this is the end of the Belichick-Brady dynasty. And then other people on ESPN report that, hey, people are saying that this might be the end of the Belichick-Brady. Like, no, you're saying it. Like, you're making up your own news. So it's just weird to me how all that works. And then, it's everywhere because they made their own story.
Yeah, that happens. Yeah, that's funny. That happens a lot with ESPN. That ecosystem we're talking about. Yeah, but I don't think Brady's necessarily wrong in saying, in the general idea of it, of like people don't think we're very good, like as good as normal. I think that's true. I mean, we've talked about that a lot this year, like you said. But hey, man, Belichick is a master at motivating too. Belichick.
Yep.
Belichick gets these guys to believe in it.
He gets he gets it done in every way. The X's and O's and all of it.
I'm sure they've talked about that in the locker room. Yep. So no matter how disingenuous I think it is, it worked last week. I didn't think they were going to beat the Chargers, and they did. They walloped the Chargers. So I don't know. Maybe there's something to it.
Right. All right. Let's get back to the game stuff. These teams played in week 6. Pats won at home 43-40. This was the last team has the ball wins kind of game. Mahomes threw a couple picks, but he and Brady played pretty much to a standoff. I think Mahomes threw 4 touchdowns. Pats control. Okay, so 946 total yards in this game. Pats controlled the ball 36 minutes time of possession. A lot of dinking and dunking and running, and that's what they do. They are so many teams play defense in a way thinking that the opposing offense is going to try to force something eventually and make a mistake, and the Pats refuse to give in to that. It's such an interesting way. They are so content to dink and dunk their way down the field, and they will take forever to do it, and throw for 4 yards at a time to Edelman and stuff like that. It's impressive to watch. The other thing about that game, they did hold Travis Kelce in check a little bit, 5 for 61. Okay, some background on these teams. Pats have been. We've talked about this a lot. They played great last week, and a lot of people were picking the Chargers, including I know I did. You said, wow, the Pats play a really good game. Yeah, at home, they have been a completely different team. They're 9-0 at home this year. They're 3-5 on the road. It is different. They have had somewhat. They lost at Detroit. They lost at Jacksonville. They lost at Tennessee. They've had a hard time on the road. One other road game, by the way, the Kenyon Drake Miami Miracle touchdown, that cost speaking of home field advantage, that cost the Pats home field advantage. The Pats would be playing at home if the Dolphins had not scored that touchdown on that crazy, wacky play.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Which is incredible. I'm sure they're hating themselves. I actually had breakfast with a friend of mine yesterday who's a Pats fan, and he said when he was watching Kenyon Drake score, the first thing he thought of was home field advantage in the playoffs. Like, that's going to be it. And it was.
It's a game of inches, right?
Yeah. So the Pats on the road, by the way, only 19 points a game this year. And the Chiefs at home, even though they've played bad teams at home generally, they've allowed 17.2. So they're a different team at home as well. We noticed it against Colts last week. People like to beat up on the Chiefs defense. At home, it's been a different story.
Yeah. I do think that the Patriots going on the road is a big deal. They haven't won a road playoff game, I think, since 2007.
Okay.
That's a long time.
Is that really? Wow. That's a good one.
Yeah. Maybe I should double check that. No, I saw that earlier this week, and I was like, it's hard to believe, but they play so many of their playoff games at home, so they haven't had to go on the road for any kind of, other than a Super Bowl for a long time. So to me, that's a big deal. I don't know. I mean, when you look at this game, to me, it's kind of, you take like the macro view of it, of the Chiefs are really, really good, and the Patriots aren't as good as they normally are. The Patriots have to go on the road.
Right.
I think the only thing that you wonder is, like, at some point Patrick Mahomes is just going to crap the bed, right? You think? But even when he does, I mean, maybe not. I mean, most quarterbacks do at some point. He hasn't really done it this season. I wonder if this is a situation where it might happen. But if you look at that macro view, just break it down in simplest terms, I don't see. I mean, for me, it's an easy pick to go with the Chiefs here.
It is for me too. As soon as I saw the Pats winning last week, I thought they're not going to win next week. Maybe they should put us on the bulletin board and say we're not respecting them or something. But yeah, I think with Mahomes, look, the one thing about Mahomes, as terrific as he is, he's not shy about taking risks, and therefore is probably more mistake prone than many other quarterbacks who play it safe. Like, he's more of a risk reward guy, and it's mostly reward. And I would never, and to Andy Reid's credit, and he has said this, I don't want to change that guy. Like, you don't want to rein him in. You want to let him play. Sometimes he's going to screw up. It's going to happen. Whether it happens this week, I don't know.
It's a Brett Favre thing.
It is. It's exactly a Brett Favre thing, and it's fine. You live with it. I mean, that's what makes him great. So,
you can't change anything at this point in the season. You just let him do what he's going to do.
Right. Do you think the Chiefs are? I mean, the stats would say that without Kareem. By the way, Spencer, Chiefs injuries. Eric Berry's fully practicing, as is Spencer Ware. So we might get a Ware and Damian Williams backfield. The stats would suggest that the Chiefs haven't had a running drop-off. Do you think there's been any noticeable enough drop-off in the backfield? I think Hunt's a better receiver than Williams. But generally they seem fine.
Williams is averaging like 5 yards a touch.
Yeah.
since he became the Chiefs starting running back. So in that aspect, no. You wonder, like, Kareem Hunt has that explosive ability. His long run this year was 45. His long run last year was 69. And this year Spencer Ware's long was 34 and Damian Williams was 25. And I was like, oh, well, there's the story. But then you look in the stats from last year, and Damian Williams also had a 69-yard run last year. So you're like, oh, well, I forgot about that with Miami. So there is some of that the potentially explosive ability there too. So then you're, the week after Hunt was gone, they rushed for 174 yards as a team, which was the second highest total of the season. And then 2 weeks later, they rushed for 154 yards, which was the third highest of the season. So, and last week they ran for 180, which was the most all year. So maybe the consistency without Hunt isn't quite as great because they really tend to go up and down that running game without him in there. But statistically, I mean, they're pretty similar,
Right.
Like Hunt is a better receiver. Like, he averaged 14.5 yards a catch, 7 TDs. Williams is averaging like 7 yards a catch, and I think Ware is averaging about 11. So you miss something there. But other than that, it's not a huge drop off. Not as much as I would have thought, maybe.
Okay. Agreed. One other thing in this game, a person I think to watch. I mean, the Pats, very impressive last week, especially since a few weeks earlier they lost Josh Gordon, that's a big deal. Even if he wasn't racking up the stats, he changes the way you have to defend them. But this game, the Chiefs, this is the fantasy, John, coming out. They have gotten lit up by opposing tight ends. That's the one that kind of jumps out a little bit. 10 touchdowns to opposing tight ends. I think it's 87 catches, over 1,000 yards to opposing tight ends. So that's basically a superstar tight end playing against them on average. I think that means Gronk. We might see the old Gronk this week.
You're saying, ooh, you think so? Huh?
I think Gronk might have. If the Pats do well, I think they'll run well, but I think Gronk will have a strong game. He's 3 for 97 in week 6. I think he's going to have a strong game. I really do.
But you know what, John? I'm looking at these stats. I'm looking at their playoff log, and they have lost a few times on the road. They lost in 2015 at Denver. They lost at 2013 at Denver. So I was wrong there. So
you said they lost. You said they haven't won a playoff game on the road, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. What did I say?
You said they haven't won a playoff game on the road since 2007, I think.
That is right. That is what I said. Okay, no, that's true.
Okay.
They won in San Diego in 2006. They have not won a playoff road game since then.
How many? They've only played how many though?
They've only played 2, and they've only they played at Denver 2015 and they played Denver in 2013. They lost both those games. They lost in 2006 to at Indianapolis. So yeah, they I guess my point stands. They're not good in the road in the playoffs.
Okay. Yep. All right. So you and I are pretty locked in on the Chiefs though.
Yeah. I mean, this game, I didn't have a difficult time picking this one.
I agree.
I just don't think the Patriots are as good as normal, and going on the road is going to be tough for them. This is the first AFC Conference Championship game in Kansas City in Arrowhead history. Isn't that weird?
That's crazy. That's a great home field. It's a great home field atmosphere and advantage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you see the over under 55.5? When I saw the early weather report, I got scared. Now I'm not scared. I think it's going over.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I like I said, unless it's snow. Yeah, I mean, these guys they're pretty used to playing in cold temperatures, and both these teams obviously they're northern teams that are not dome teams, so they're used to playing in the cold.
Right.
I understand that cold obviously affects it somewhat, but I don't. Like I said, unless it's snowing, unless it's raining, I think they'll go over.
Okay.
Like I said, these are two of the top 4 scoring teams in the league.
Yeah, I think it's going over. And I got to tell you, by the way, this game, to wrap this one up, 52% of the fans like the Chiefs, given the points. Experts are split 50-50. Again, we're doing this Friday morning, so it's early. We'll have more picks in later today, Saturday and Sunday. You can look at NFLPickwatch.com, and you can see what everybody else is doing if you want to use that to help make your picks.